Great Monday morning, everyone. It seems like forever since we've been on film. Thanks everybody for the great interaction and stuff from our Friday's video with that huge sign carvers of the day. Just some really super talented sign carvers out there. Thank you so much for all the positive stuff. I really feed on the positive stuff. The negative stuff you can keep to yourself if you want to. I'm just saying. Anyway. Okay, so you all right? Yeah. All right, so we will move on. Questions for today. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a phenomenal weekend. All right, so this was from Charles Jett, and he had made a sign, and I don't have a picture of it. It's going to be on a sign carvers of the day someday in the next month or two. But he said, one thing I'd like to pass on to you is when I used Rapid Resizer to transfer text into the center of a piece, and he was spelling out jet impact. I think it was a commercial sign. I noticed that there was a space between the P and the A that did not exist on my computer screen. Unfortunately, I'd already started carving it before I noticed it. So when he printed it out that looked different than it did on the screen when he did it. Just because it looks right on the screen doesn't necessarily mean that it looks correct. So double check your print. And so here's what I'm going to go over, guys. It's something I've never really talked about, which is hard to believe because it seems like I've talked about everything. But so I laid out some letters here, and I want to give you what my theory is between what happened on this. So he was spelling out jet impact, and between the P and the A, there was a space that wasn't on his computer screen, but it was there when he printed it out. So this is the P and this is the A. Obviously, this doesn't spell anything. I just grabbed some random. But here's my theory. And any of you that have been around for a while, and if any of you think this theory is wrong, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm saying this is what I believe my theory is. See, if you take this P and this A, I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. But if you remember back the turn of the century when they were doing typesetting, every letter when they were doing typesetting to make printed stuff, whether it was a newspaper or a book or everything, every one of these letters went on a block. So if you can imagine that this P was on a block by itself, was on a block, a square block or a rectangle block, and this A was on a square or rectangle block, how close could you get them together? You could get them about that close, because there's your line right there. That's about as close as you're going to get those letters together, unless they're swedged off somehow. So my theory is that anytime you have two slants or something that would nest together, so that the same thing would happen if you had a V, that's not right, but if you had a V and an A. If it was typeset, back in the old days, and I think my theory, again, I may be totally wrong on this. If somebody knows the answer to the question, and let me know. But my theory is, and probably some of you printers or sign people out there, you may have a better answer to this, but my theory is that's the reason, is that the A and the V, they can't get close because they're on blocks, or back in the old days they were on blocks. Now the other thing, so that, that same thing would apply with a W and an A. So that's the thing about that. What you might want to do when you're doing your layout and you're doing letters, if you can individually move those over one way or the other, you might want to check that out anytime you've got a deal that looks like that. Now here you probably won't have any issue, here you wouldn't, but anytime you have a possible overlap like that, you might want to check that out and make sure that spacing is right. That's one of the reasons I really like layout letters, because I can put them wherever I want to. If I want to crowd these things, I can make all the spaces the same. It's one of the reasons I really like layout letters as compared to sometimes to print. Now the other thing is, and many of you will know this, when we put a new font in the computer, and we say these are 1.5 inches, we say we want all of our letters 1.5 inches, and we type A through Z 1.5 inches, they won't all be 1.5 inches. The reason being is anytime you see type printed stuff, and again, you guys can confirm or deny this, but I know it's true, that anything with a round at the top and the bottom, the O and the C and whatever else, maybe even the S, they will be full size. Everything else will be smaller. Now when we do them, we make sure everything is 1.5 inches, so we have to expand these up to equal these. But when you just type on your word processor or your computer or whatever, if you really blew it up and you went in and looked at them, every O and every C at least would be larger. They'll be taller than all the other letters, or any ones that don't have a round on them. Anyway, that's my little theory of why that A and that P were off from a spacing standpoint. And again, I'm open to your guys' theories if you've got a different one. All right, so I'm going to move on to the second question, and again, it has to do with layout letters. This is one I've covered before, so go back and watch video. Am I too loud? I'm excited. I'll take a drink. That'll slow me down. Go back and watch video 113 on this same subject that I'm going to talk about in just a second here. All right, I'll calm down. Okay, so this is from Chuck Lyons in Ohio. I didn't see any segment on your videos you might have missed, but I might have missed it since you have so many videos. But I was wondering what you do when you don't have enough letters to make your sign. I recently purchased 3 different sizes of your letters, but the first sign I made had 2 words with 3 N's in it and 3 S's. So this is for limited layout letters, basically. And I kind of just grabbed some stuff here. What was I spelling? BG's. I'm probably not even spelling this right. But let's just say that you are going to spell the word or the name BG's. Is that spelled right? B-E-E-G-G. G-E-E. That's the way I would spell it, but I don't know. I'm not, I don't listen to the Bee Gees, but that's the way I would assume it's spelled. I don't know. I might be wrong on that. But anyway, let's say this is your word that and you've only got 2 E's, or you've only got 1 E. What you need to do is find a letter that is the same. This is what I do. I find a letter that is around the same size as the E. This one isn't exactly, but it's close. So what I would do is I would lay out, if I had 2 E's, I would lay that out, and then I would use these as spacers, putting them upside down so I know. And then I would take and I would spray this part. I would spray this part with my black, and then I would move these over, and then I would block it off here, and I would spray this part. So it's not rocket science, guys. And there may be a better way. Hey, I'm not the know everything guy. I know a lot of useless information, but I don't know everything. You took that from your dad. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I do. And again, I go into this in a lot more depth back on 113. The only reason I'm covering it again, because I get this question quite often. And now we're selling sets, which is a set is just 1 each of all the letters. Well, you can still make it work. You just have to kind of find stuff that's the same space, the same size, width, and just kind of move them over and block it off, spray it, and then move it over and block it off and spray it. It can be kind of a pain. If you've got multiples on all your layout letters, it's less of a hassle. But if you're not making that many signs, just having a set, anyway, that's that. Do you think I answered that okay? Yeah. All right.
Go back and watch the video.
Yeah, go back and watch the 113. All right, so here's one, sign carvers of the day. Here's one that I thought was really cool. Who is this person that made this sign? Please tell me I wrote it down, and I did not. How special is that? I did not write the man's name down. I so apologize. This is such a great sign, though. I don't know. I have no clue why I don't have his name on this sign. So I'm so sorry that I don't. But I have double pictures of it. This is an 18 by 18 circle. And this is the first time he did outset letters. He used a spiral upcut, a profile, a 90, and SC50. And here's the really cool part is I'm going to switch over to the other picture. You ready, babe? Is if you look at it from an angle, each of those mountain ranges were done at a different level. So it's actually got different levels, and he did the little dimple effect, similar to what I do sometimes in my background. But just did a phenomenal job on this sign.
Great painting too.
Yeah, and he said honestly he had more time in masking and painting than he did in actual carving, because it was just so time consuming. But the finished product just pretty darn cool. So I apologize about not writing his name down. I should have checked that out. But he sent this to me a couple months ago, honestly. I will correct that on the next video. Shane Hammer, my buddy from Kingman, who introduced me to Joe, England.
Average Joe.
Average Joe's Woodworking, yeah. Average Joe's Woodworking. Average Joe's Woodshop.
Oh, you are way off.
Man, I'm off my game today.
You are.
So Joe Whitaker is his name, and it's Average Joe's. But anyway, Shane is my neighbor over in Kingman, and met with him and his wife several times. We had dinner with them. Yeah, and just really cool sign. Great job, Shane. So that is it. Evidently it's early in the week because I seem to be off my game a little bit, so I apologize. So I hope everybody has a great week. We will see you on Wednesday. Don't forget, a week from last Saturday, this coming Saturday, LTS, and we've got a surprise, which I'm going to blow the surprise right now. We're going to be in our brand new studio. We just built a new studio, and that's what we're working on all week to get ready. So we'll be in our new studio for the LTS, which will be 9 o'clock Arizona time.
I believe it's the 27th.
I think it's the 27th, this coming Saturday. So anyway, guys, hope everybody has a great week. We'll see you in a couple of days on Wednesday, and keep those questions coming, keep those sign carvers of the day coming, and we'll keep doing what we do, and we'll be planning a great demo for Saturday. So see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.